All right. So, Kim Antenucci, thank you for coming on. So, I wanted to bring you on today because it occurred to me recently that since we met, when you were working at a mortgage brokerage, you were working alone by yourself, doing about $4 million a year in volume. And you have grown into literally like a President's Club producer. You're doing over $25 million a year in volume. You're leading a team of people, and your team is actually growing in a market that has shrunk. At a time when there's no listings, rates are not good, there's just bad news all around, and you are just like shining, and rising above all of that. And I just wanted to ask you, it's been a long process, and I've just watched you grow so much. And I just thought it might benefit people to hear your story about how you made that transition and, what really were the difference makers in your mentality and what you're working on and, just what's going on with you. How are you?
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm blushing. Thank you for
You're welcome.
nice things about me. None of them are true. No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, I came from a small brokerage there. I started out as a processor, and I quickly realized, not for me. I know my flaws, and processing is one of them. So I got my license very quickly after processing in New York. And then rapidly after that, I got one in Florida. It makes sense. Everybody wants to move to Florida from New York. So I was probably doing, like you said, 4 to 6 million. And I was processing all of my own files. So I took the deal from lead to closing, right? I did it all. I was a one-man show. I originated my loans and I processed my loans. Also there, it was, a very different kind of environment. It was all about, competition and this mentality of, who is the best. I can honestly say, because I was one of the only female loan officers there, it was a lot like, every day you'd go in and you felt like you were in like a locker room with dudes. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying things but it was that kind of just kind of hostile environment. It was very competitive. There was zero support, right? I was just kind of out there on my own, get it done type of thing. I don't regret it. I learned a lot from that experience, honestly. And I'm a firm believer that we learn from our own lives, right? From our past. But when I was approached by you, because I was starting to look for other opportunities, I knew I needed to grow. And I was very restricted at this brokerage. You guys were throwing around all this stuff like culture and mission. And I'm like,
when they did that to me, I thought it was bullshit too. I couldn't believe it.
And not even that, but I what is this?
Yeah. I was like, I'm so excited. This can't be real.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I have a purpose.
Yeah.
I'm going to be helping people in the community by doing my job. It was just mind blowing, right? So then I was like, oh, it's too good to be true. And I met a bunch of other companies, of course, companies that offered me more money and all these different kind of scenarios. And no one presented that to me. So I joined Movement and it was pretty fast. I had a rough start the first couple of years, I'd say. Kind of during that time, I was learning about myself. It's crazy what this company does for you as a human. I learned a lot about who I am. I took where I came from and created the person that I wanted to be. And I learned that I can be the person I want to be. And it's nuts because this company quite literally helped. I wouldn't say the company changed me, right? Because the only people who can change you is yourself. But it aided me. It allowed me that thought process. It allowed me to grow with not just my mind and my tools, but also with my heart. And it really changed me as a loan officer, but also as a human. And it's awesome because who I am today is who I've always been meant to be. You know, it's just now I can be this person, and it's pretty awesome. You know, the last week I spent at President's Club in Cancun, and they reminded us of this concept of impact lending, right? And I know it's a new concept to most of the world, but Movement actually has done this since its origination, because its mission is literally to be an impact, right? So although it's very new concept to everybody, it is a real thing here at this company. And it reminded me that, you know, our mortgages here at Movement, they mean more. They mean more than just getting somebody a loan to buy a house, right? It's beyond me. It's beyond Casey, the owner of the company. It's so much bigger than that. Every single time I make my mortgage payment, because I'm a proud Movement mortgage holder, every time I make my mortgage payment, I'm giving back to children and communities all over our country and all around the world. Every time I fund a loan through Movement, half of that profit is going back to communities all around the world. And it's like mind-blowing. Like, people probably think I'm talking out of my ass right now, but it's just real. It's reality. And Movement's been doing this since 2008 when it started. It's just nobody really knew about this kind of secret, this impact lending. So I learned a lot about it. And to be honest, just having that behind you, of course, the support, you know, I'm growing my team, having the ability to do that, it's amazing. The support I have here at Movement is like unconditional, I say. And then having this mission and this why, and knowing every day when I wake up that I'm making an impact today, right now today, it drives me to be a better human. It drives me to be a better loan officer. It drives me to grow my team so that we can continue to spread it across the market, you know?
Yeah, totally. I always say it's like when anywhere else I ever worked, if I got a deal or didn't get a deal, it was like either I made money or they made money, and it didn't really matter really who made the money.
Right.
But now all of a sudden it's like, if I get the mortgage, right? Kids get educated where they wouldn't have. People get food where they wouldn't have. You know, it's like there's an impact that happens, and now it matters more. And you know, you touched on another thing, which actually is for me too, like it was really different, is that Movement Mortgage tried to get me to be myself. They didn't, like everywhere else, I felt like I had to form into whatever it was that the job role wanted me to be. And I had to mold myself into that. And Movement more like tried to bring me out of that to be whoever I really was meant to be. And it's like, that's a totally different mentality. I mean, it's like, then you're spending your time, like I'm spending my time doing the things that only I can do rather than processing my loans, you know what I mean? You know, and things like that. So, and I'm happier because I'm doing the things that I'm naturally better at. But yeah, I agree with you on that 100%.
It's easier to be a loan officer at Movement Mortgage.
Yes.
It's easier to be who you want to be. I mean, why wouldn't anybody want to be here? You know what I mean? I
think that a lot of people just don't realize what it is. Everybody kind of knows how to like speak the words, and it all sounds the same at the end of the day, and it's not the same. It's just not. And it's beautiful. But so tell me a little bit, how have you been able to impact, you know, the daily lives of real estate agents and borrowers in your community that's different?
So, you know, growing up, my mom always said two things to us as kids. She always said, treat others as you wish to be treated. And the second thing was, actions speak louder than words. And I feel like I wake up every single morning with those two lessons imprinted on my soul. And I truly believe that my mission every single day is to show my realtor partners, my attorneys, my clients, my team. It's to show them that we need to live this role. You know, we need to fill it with this, because I can tell you right now that almost all of my competition is out there and they are talking the talk, if you will, but nobody is truly walking the walk. And I truly believe that I know personally I am, and other loan officers here at Movement are as well. And I think that the community around us is seeing that. They're seeing, when I go to a realtor's office, for example, I am partnered with certain brokers in Syracuse and in Rochester. And when I walk into those offices, I don't say, hey guys, what product do you want to talk about today? Or, oh, you guys want to hear about the rates? Because they're really right now. So instead, I literally walk into every single one of those meetings saying, hey, like, what's going on? Where are you hurting?
Mm-hmm.
And then I personally am finding a way to fix their hurt.
Yeah, you have the heart of a servant.
So, and even when a client calls, and they're like, hey, John Smith said I gotta call you for a pre-approval. They won't even show me this house. And you can almost tell, like, the client is like, oh, I gotta do this, right? And so I immediately say, oh my God, congratulations on working on getting your pre-approval. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
And I change that. It doesn't have to be painful, and I just say, like, hey, you sound a little hesitant or a little off. Like, what's up? What's been your experience so far? This should be fun and exciting. Like, what are you worried about? And whatever it is, maybe they're worried about their credit or their income or their whatever, but by the end of that phone call, they know that I literally through the phone just wrapped my arms around them and said, we're going to make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a very different way. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm too much a little bit sometimes, probably, but it's gotten me this
You're not
far.
too much.
Yeah. And so I do things very differently, especially with my realtors, my clients. People come to me because they know that I'm going to love and value them no matter who they are or where they're from.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to, and they know that they're going to end up being lifelong friends.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I think we'll probably interview you again soon. It's just incredible to see what you're doing. And probably the one thing I've learned to do here is I've been able to identify, like, when people are really going up. I think that we're going to definitely see even greater things from you in the very near future. So congratulations on all your success. I'm glad you enjoyed President's Club. I heard Flo Rida. What? We had Flo Rida?
We did. It was nuts. It was nuts. And he was throwing money around, and it was so cool. He was like literally shooting dollar bills from the stage into the crowd. And I have to say, one of the coolest things I saw was every single one of us top producers there were collecting those dollar bills off of the ground and handing them to every single bartender and waitress that were standing around watching us. So once again, I don't know any other mortgage company, not even mortgage company, whatever industry you're in, I don't know any other one that can honestly say that they take their top producers to Mexico to celebrate by bringing book bags to children who are in poverty-stricken villages, or playing soccer games with these children, loving up on them, and celebrating by bringing Flo Rida, who's throwing money at us, and we taking that money and giving it back to those Mexicans that have just served us for the last week. So
that's amazing.
I don't know any other company that can say that.
Yeah. We call that cult, right?
That's right.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Have a good day.
Thanks, Brandon. Bye-bye.